It was the largest acquisition that Morrison had ever made, 2,100 acres, considerable investment. To kind of share that risk a little bit, we were looking for a partner. Toll Brothers fit kind of the profile. So we oversee the day-to-day, but in terms of decision-making, it's 50-50.
From the moment you drive into the community, it's just breathtaking. Rolling hills, unlike anything in the area. It kind of brings the best of both worlds. Luxury, beautiful, breathtaking feel with the nature.
There were actually 5 production builders. Toll and Morrison are the partners that own the project. So eventually there was the intent that the other 3 builders would phase out. A little bit of regret is that we don't have more custom lots available.
It's beautiful, but it's also like a breath of fresh air as you pull into that community. There's also that question of, can I afford to live there? A lot of people don't realize that, starting price is $550s.
Welcome to our podcast. Today we have a very special podcast for the viewers. We are going to be talking about one of the master plan communities right here in Leander, Texas, called the Travisso. And today I have very own vice president and also joint venture himself, Mark Berman, that's going to be coming in our podcast and talking about what's happening, what's the future development, and what's there for the buyers. And also with him, we have Nicole, who is a marketing lady in Travisso itself. So I can't wait to share what they all have to talk about the Travisso community. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, Nicole and Mark, for joining in our podcast today and then helping our viewers understand about the new construction, especially in Travisso, what's happening, what's going to be in the future development phases, and trying to understand what is the buyers, what they can learn about from the marketing and also from the joint ventures that you're involved with, the builders. So I just want to say, please introduce yourself, Nicole, and also Mark, and thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Nicole Rima, and I do the marketing for Travisso. I started in earlier this year, and it's a spectacular community. I'm excited to tell you all about it.
I'm Mark Berman. I'm the Vice President of Joint Ventures for Travisso. I work actually for Taylor Morrison, been with Taylor Morrison for 17 years. Before I had this role, I was actually the Vice President of Finance for Taylor Morrison. So I was involved back in 2012 when we bought the property, kind of on the acquisition side of it.
That's
and
wonderful.
Kind of transitioned into the development side later.
In the whole Travisso. So you guys have been there for how long in the Travisso area so far?
We bought the property in 2012.
Okay.
And started development in 2013, formed our joint venture with Toll Brothers. We actually delivered our first lots in 2014 and had closings at the end of 2014.
Awesome. And then when you say joint ventures, I want people to understand what that really means.
Okay. Yeah, a joint venture is really a partnership between multiple parties. In our case, when Taylor Morrison had tied up the land back in 2012, but it was the largest acquisition that Taylor Morrison had ever made. So there's a lot of risk involved in that. It was 2,100 acres, considerable investment. And so to kind of share that risk a little bit, we were looking for a partner, and Toll Brothers fit kind of the profile we were looking at. Another luxury brand builder that is a really good match for Taylor Morrison, been a really good partner. So that's how it started. But really, Taylor Morrison serves as the managing general partner. So we oversee the day-to-day, but in terms of decision making, it's 50-50 between, in terms of the product lines, the builders we've let in, what we're doing in terms of amenities, entry features, things like that. So.
I know, and I've been in the Travisso. I've seen it grow from starting way before, as I used to live in Leander back in the day, and then you still have a lot more. How many more years left still development? I think another. Is it?
We'd actually, it really depends on what the market does, but
Gotcha.
we probably have another 3 to 4 years of development, and then probably we trail about another year behind that in terms of home sales.
So how many actual homes are you?
At the end of the day, today, as of we speak right now, we've sold roughly 2,200 homes, and we have 2,100 of those have closed. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the project, there'll be about 3,000 homes, give or take. Our land plan changes a little bit as we get into engineering, mainly because of the topography out there. If it was a flat piece of ground, you pretty much know exactly how many lots you're going to develop. But when we have to run water and sewer and roads, it kind of changes over time a little bit. But at the end of the day, we write about 3,000 homes.
And I know Treviso is a very unique kind of communities. People either love it, that they want to be in that environment. Why do you think people in Treviso are choosing Treviso itself? I know you are there doing the marketing. What do you think that drives buyers right now into that community?
It's a spectacular community. If you haven't been out there, from the moment you drive into the community, it's just breathtaking. Rolling hills, unlike anything in the area. Unlike anything I've seen in the state. It just is gorgeous. And then you combine that with the amazing builders we have, Toll Brothers and Taylor Morrison, very respected quality builders, and then the spectacular amenities. So we opened the first amenity in 2016. And I'm going to refer to my notes here just because there's so much stuff there. So that's the Palazzo. It has a clubhouse, a huge event space, a 2,000 square foot state-of-the-art fitness center, a resort-style pool, a splash pad, a fire pit, 2 lighted tennis courts, 2 pickleball courts, playground, a huge, massive, beautiful event lawn and rec field. And then this year, earlier April-ish, we opened the second amenity and added whole nother large, beautiful piece on there. It's 5,500 square feet for the building itself. It's got a 5,000 square foot pool with a tanning ledge, a yoga studio, a yoga lawn, pool tables, poker tables, ping pong tables, cornhole, a full-size basketball court, multiple bocce lanes, a playscape, which is super fun. It's got a little zip line on there. I'll admit, I've tried it out. Wow. And then there's a beautiful fishing pier and pond, and there's a cute little gazebo you can hang out under, have a picnic lunch, and then pocket parks throughout the community, master plan community. So it's not cookie cutter. It's not every house is exactly the same. There's a ton of diversity, and it's a fabulous community.
I mean, there's several builders out there right now. And then I know Taylor Morrison and Toll Brothers are considered one of the luxury home builders in Treviso. Why do you think that is? What unique values or qualities is that as a builder are you offering, you think, for the buyers right now?
I think it's really the design of the homes themselves, the plans, the finish, the build out, the included features. When Travisso was first conceived, just based on the size of the community itself, there were actually 5 production builders building in Travisso, and Toll and Taylor Morrison are the partners that own the project. So eventually, there was the intent that the other 3 builders would phase out, which is kind of what ended up happening. And the market demand has been there for Taylor Morrison and Toll Brothers to continue building, and the product that both builders offer is really what people in that area are looking for, just in terms of the luxury, the prestige. I think Nicole hit on it a little bit in terms of when you drive into Treviso, you get a feeling of a sense of arrival at a very prestigious community. The parkway, has great views, and I think one of the things that is maybe a little bit of regret is that we don't have more custom lots available. That it was really more of a production lot, but a lot of the custom lots were driven by how the topography and their views themselves and what the demand was. So I mean, the joint venture itself has built about 55 custom lots, of which I want to say 53 of them are sold and built. All of them are sold. The lots are all sold. We're waiting for all the homes to finish. Toll Brothers currently has a section called the Verona section that's offering 100-foot lots that are also, I would consider them semi-custom homes, but they have spectacular views. And then we sold off some of the property to another builder called Heartland Taylor Road, and they're going to be they're in the process of developing 26 custom lots that are right off Osage Drive. So,
and that's going to be starting soon?
They're actually in the process of developing with a time frame of late 2026 delivering their lots.
Is it going to be bigger size homes?
I would assume so. Their lots are anywhere, Taylor Morrison and Toll Brothers built on what we consider 50-foot, 60-foot, 70-foot, and 80-foot lots, which is just the lot width. The depth varies based on the topography, but those lots are probably they're anywhere from 150 foot wide to 200 to 250 foot wide. So a lot wider lot. But and they'll also have some golf course views at the Crystal Falls Golf Course. So looking forward to that.
I think also, the two builders that are currently active building in there really do a great job of listening to what the buyers are looking for. They have, between the two, 59 floor plans. So, I mean, really something for everybody. Looking at, between 1,900, just over 1,900 square feet up to 6,000 square feet. So they're not, if you want a big house, you can get a big house. Or if you want, a smaller house, that option is available as well. And they've, added features and really just taken feedback that they received from realtors as well as from consumers on what people want to see in the homes. And I feel like they're two of the builders, I work with several builders in the area. They're two of the most, I guess, responsive and they listen and then they take action. So it's not just, here's what we have and we're not making, we're not going to make any adjustments. So I think
so they're not custom. I mean, right, because if they choose a floor plan, you're going with that. It's not like you can they extend the room size, I don't think, or have that option.
So a lot of the floor plans, so there's 59 floor plans currently, and then a lot of them have options to, increase the bed count, make this a flex room, add an outdoor kitchen, add a balcony. There's a lot of different features that each of them already have, like, drawn and whatnot. But because they're production builders, most likely if you wanted a full custom home, it's not going to be, but with the amount of options and flexibility. So 59 floor plans plus all of the, the structural options that you can choose, plus all of the, fixtures, finishes that you can make. I mean, thousands of options to make your home your home.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Because now, I mean, right when you enter Travisso, there's luxury, like custom homes right when you enter, and then you go into the development phase where there's builders offering lots where they can choose a floor plan and build the home that they want. Now, another question for the viewers is, working with a lot of cultural buyers, right? They're looking at Vastu, right? This is what some of my buyers kind of look for, and then you see on north-facing versus south-facing or east-facing homes. And I'm sure you guys have noticed that drastically on which ones will sell out faster and which lots will kind of stay a little bit longer. Now, the prices on that, is there a difference? Is there a reason why they're a little bit more than the other facing? Or
no, I don't think that it's driven by the facing of the home. Okay. But just based on the hill country views and the topography of Travisso, what may drive it is that view. If you've got a great canyon view, or you're on the green belt, or on a cul-de-sac, you may have a little bit of a price increase. Or, once again, like one of the great aspects of Travisso is that because of the topography out there, it's not a grid type design subdivision. So, in a grid pattern, you can design your homes to really face wherever you want to. In terms of the uniqueness of Travisso, the good news is, you've got these hill country views, and but you can't really design around, a grid. You've got to really work with how the roads wind and stuff like that. So, probably if we had the opportunity to do more north facing homes, we probably would do it. But unfortunately, a lot of the topography just doesn't permit it.
Now, is there a reason with the fencing is the way it is? Because I know they're all kind of like not closed, they're open rails. Is that what it is with the backyards? And is that why it's to expose the community the way the hill country view offered?
It really goes back to when the community was first designed, we had looked at other communities that use standard kind of wood board fencing, and it just closes out the community. And so the open rail fencing was designed to kind of give people a more sense of an openness and take advantage of those views and the open spaces. There's all in all, the total community is about 2,100 acres. And of that 2,100 acres, at the end of the day, 400 of it is dedicated open space, green space. So, there's some bird preserve that we can't disturb, but and some of it just based on the topography itself is kind of non-buildable, but it is a lot of open space. So I think the fencing style that we selected allows people to take advantage of those views.
I was just going to say, I also think it promotes community. I mean, when I talk to residents who live in the community, they talk about, their neighbors are their friends. It's not, a closed off community where you don't know who lives next door, who lives across the street. You're getting together. The HOA does, numerous events monthly. There's a full-time activities director that creates community events. But in addition to that, the residents get together. They're hanging out, they're friends, they know each other. They talk about community, they talk about work. There's tons of connection. And I think the open fencing and just kind of the open space really promotes that and just makes it easier to gather, and you can see your neighbor, wave hi, or, it creates a better sense of connection between the people who live in the community.
Well, I totally get it, because I have the buyers that have bought there, and then they love that the friendliness of the community, how they can get together for the events that they have monthly.
Yeah.
The other thing that I know my buyers were thinking is like, hey, is there anything else that's coming on that side? Because it is so, you still have to drive inside to the community to get into the Travisso, right? Because it's preserved with hill country views. Now, day-to-day lifestyle-wise, do you guys know if there's anything that's going to be coming around that in the production, in the next few years? Any big commercial or anything like that?
The commercial site that we have is really at the entry to the community that the joint venture sold off to a company called Huntington Properties out of Houston, and they're developing the shops at Travisso there. And so they've broken ground on their first two buildings that I believe are about 7,000 square feet each. And those buildings should be open by the end of the year. But they're looking, they've had a couple of leases that they've executed for a coffee shop, I believe a liquor store, a nail salon, and they're looking for like a daycare center, other restaurants. But that's the main commercial. And then as you kind of go down, I believe as you go towards Jonestown, there will be more development as you kind of head east from Travisso down 1431. I think that's one of the other features of Travisso that kind of is a little different than other communities. You're far enough away from the hustle and bustle of some of the busier areas of Leander or Cedar Park, or even into Austin or Round Rock. But you have easy access, and there is a lot of shopping, as you get down towards, 1431 and 183 at the 1890 Ranch and the park there. There are a lot of area restaurants. There's the HEB, Randall's, the Whole Foods.
It's like
are
within
pretty close.
20 minutes
Yes.
or so, right?
Yeah.
Give or take, depending.
Yes.
And what about the schools? Are there any schools within the community yet?
We actually, there's a private school at the entry to the community that a lot of people have taken advantage of, called Sterling Classical. Back in 2015, the joint venture sold a parcel to LISD for an elementary school. And, with the kind of, thought that eventually by 2018, 2019, the school would be built, but the demographics had kind of shifted away from I guess that western part of Leander toward the eastern Palmer corridor. So they have sold a bond they've had a bond sale that allows for the design of the school and the actual construction of the school. So we're still optimistic that the school will eventually be built, but it just isn't within the time frame that we initially anticipated.
Perfect. And right now they're falling under Leander ISD.
Yeah.
So perfect. I know I have made a list of questions for you all to answer from the clients that have, asked me to, especially with the Travisso. So I'm going to go through it. Some of them we probably did answer already. For someone who has never visited Treviso, how would you describe Treviso community overall? Because I know it's a master plan community. Few sentences on that.
I think definitely luxury and community. Like, I feel like it's a community. I mean, obviously Leander is a community, but it is a community itself. And everyone, like you had mentioned as well, everyone is connected. And there's amazing amenities, something for everyone. I also, in master plan communities, sometimes you get where it's all one style, price point, and home. But Treviso is not that way. It's, there's a variety. There is, something for everyone. And it just is beautiful hill country views, unlike any other community. And just a sense of my feeling is when you drive in off of 1431 onto Travisso Parkway, it's just like you have arrived. It's beautiful, but it's also like a breath of fresh air as you pull into that community.
I think one has to go visit to just feel that, especially people moving from California. I know that I have a lot of buyers are like, we want to be in Treviso. It's like they buy because they want to be in that community field.
Yes.
Yep. I think the homeowners there have a lot of pride, a real strong sense of pride for the community itself and for their homes. It's something that, it kind of speaks to that luxury and prestige of the community. But, people there, they love being there and they're proud of their community.
No, that's absolutely correct. And then I also have seen some farmers market events also happening with that. Is that correct? Is it like once a month or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the total frequency, but it is, that is an HOA sponsored event.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Then we just talked about a little bit of lifestyle, some of the amenities that you included. It's massive amenities. Now, with all of that, do you know roughly what the HOA is for this, or does it change ever?
It is changes annually, and
I believe the fees right now are $90 a month, $1,080 a year,
somewhere there.
And they've gone up. I think in the last 5 years, maybe from $70 a month to $90. But we also introduced a totally second amenity that the joint venture spent roughly $8 million on. So you're getting a lot of lifestyle. Also, we do have a management company that's on site. It's another unique aspect of Treviso. A lot of communities, if you want to contact somebody at the HOA, you make a phone call, you send an email, you never hear from them. Our CCMC is our property manager, and they office out of the Palazzo amenity center, and so they have a full staff on site, a manager, an assistant manager, the activities director that Nicole spoke about. There's an on-site maintenance person that kind of, if there's any kind of damage to a sign in the community, or there's one of the landscaping that just needs a little bit of touch up, he goes out and takes care of that stuff. So you are getting a lot for what the relatively to what other communities offer in terms of the HOA itself.
No, I mean, that's, the pools, the zip line you said. I think I haven't heard of that, which is, quite shocking that adults can try that out too.
I don't know if it's meant for adults.
Hey, I know, right?
I will say that back before we designed that amenity, I was on a vacation in Boston, and I was walking to Fenway Park to see a Red Sox game, and I saw a little park with this zip line. And I was like, oh, that is the coolest thing. I'm going to put this zip line in. And I kind of went back to our development manager. His name is Brad Gardner, who oversees the day-to-day development. And I was like, yeah, put it in a zip line. And I said it kind of in jest, not knowing that he was going to take it to heart. But we got our zip line. So
there's that zip line. I'll have to come by and check it out and, let the viewers know how that looks like. But that doesn't really happen in a community, right? And I think this just started at now, like the older back in Austin, the communities that you see that's already developed, they didn't have a concept of this big amenities to offer, right? Like the lifestyle aspect wasn't there when old Austin was there, right? With the community. But now there is massive, like Treviso is one of the, number one in North Austin side, in Leander especially, that has started and is still continuing to build and providing that valley for the buyers that are looking for that hill country views, the family balance, right?
Yeah, actually, to speak to that a little bit, Taylor Morrison was the master developer of Steiner Ranch.
Yeah.
And so Taylor Morrison had a lot of success in Steiner Ranch, and I think Steiner was really kind of the blueprint for what, in terms of amenities and finish and community feel. We were looking for another community kind of to replace Steiner. It kind of was in a wind down phase, so kind of there was a little bit of overlap between Travisso and Steiner Ranch, but that's really what initiated looking for the property. It was kind of a replacement for Steiner Ranch.
That's awesome. And I know you guys have opened up the back sections for Toll Brothers and Taylor Morrison with different square footage homes. Some of my clients are building there right now, and they're really luxury, where I have already toured them. Now, you were saying they can still pick lots, right? You still have a year or 2 years out on building phases of coming. Anything else, I know incentives, let's talk about that right now, especially in this market. What do you think the buyers, what are the incentives?
Yeah, so the incentives change regularly. So I'd hate to put something out there and then have it change. But both of our builders have different incentives, and they can customize and adjust them, to the buyer's needs. So I think the best way to find out the latest and greatest on what the incentives are is to come out and visit. The models are open 7 days a week, and the on-site salespeople are there really to help you find the home and the program that works best for you, and get you into the community. Get you there and make sure that the price and the incentives, all of the pieces come together to get you where you need to be.
And I think you had a number of quick move-in homes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we currently have 33 that are quick move-in homes. 12 of those are move-in ready, so they're ready to go right now. And I mean, the builders want to sell the move-in ready homes because they don't want them to sit on the book. So if you're in the market for a home, now is the best time, especially for those 12 that are ready to go. And then the rest of them, completion dates are as far as February. So, I mean, not very far along either.
Not far. So 12 already completed and ready to move.
Correct.
And what are the square footages on those?
Yeah, so the move-in ready ones, we have 2596 with a 5-bedroom, 4-bath. And then our move-in ready one that's complete. Yeah, the biggest one. That one's available in February. But move-in ready now, we got 4937.
That's
pretty
big.
1.2. But like you said, you can do a to be built, which means you pick the floor plan, you pick which home site you'd like it on. We do currently only have a few of the 50-foot home sites. So those smaller floor plans, there are a limited number of lots. I'm not sure how many do not have inventory homes on them currently, or quick move-in homes on them. So if you're interested in doing a to be built in the 50s,
get moving. Yes.
Yeah, from the pricing standpoint, Travisso was approved as a PUD, planned unit development with the city of Leander back in 2015. And so the PUD requirement only allowed us to build 20% of the total lots as 50-foot, the compact residential. Obviously, in terms of affordability and pricing, there's always been strong demand for the 50-foot product. People that want to get into Travisso, that's kind of the entry point. And those home sites, as Nicole just said, we're kind of getting down to the very end. There's just a handful left. So those are probably the ones that, will go the quickest.
Do you guys have any other, after you're done with all these phases, do you know if there's still going to be more coming up later down the years, or you think this is more of the end of the Travisso side of new construction?
We have about, currently under development, we have 133 lots that are kind of on the eastern side of the property. Kind of if you're coming now down 1431, you can see the development taking place. And those lots, they're going to open mid-year. mid 2026. They've got spectacular views. They're going to be great lots. So, and they're 60, 70, and 80-foot lots. And then after that, we kind of ping pong back and forth, back to the west side of the property. We've got some property that is not accessible off of the main Travisso Parkway, but will be off of Nameless.
Yeah.
You can come in off Nameless. There's another 66 lots that are 60-foot lots that will be developed. We're hoping to start development on those first part of 2026. So those lots would probably be available into 2027. And then we kind of go back over again to the east side, and we're actually Osage Drive. The master plan is for Osage Drive to connect at 1431. So
Perfect.
that's the last part of the Osage connection, and we'll start development on that probably late 2026. And then into 2027. And there's also same variety of lot sizes over there.
Wow. So still a few more
And
years.
we've looked at some property that's kind of contiguous to Travisso, just in terms of trying to acquire it. We're constantly negotiating to do that. And part of it is, one of the big factors in that is whether we could get it annexed into the city of Leander and get water and sewer access.
Yeah.
We have sewer access. We built our own water treatment facility on site, but the water issue in Leander hopefully is getting resolved, and that would allow us to add maybe up to another 250 lots. So
that would be, wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Leander already, it's known as, number one suburbs right here, growing still. So, so we talked about the buying, we talked about the incentives. What are the most common question buyers are asking you right now, in the community? Do you guys have?
I mean, I think it plays right into what Nicole had just mentioned was, do you have inventory available? Do you have homes available today? We get questions on those custom lots. But a lot of times I know in terms of talking to realtors or just the community in general, because we started selling homes in 2014, and because it's such a large community, some people forget that we're still building out there.
Yes.
And so that's probably one of the biggest questions is, when do you have new lots? Are they available? Things that revolve around that.
I think there's also that question of, can I afford to live there? I think as if you're just driving by the community or even driving through the community, it has that luxury, super high-end feel. So a lot of people don't realize that, start from prices $550s. And so I think that is a question a lot of people also have. And then around the amenities, which you've already spoken a ton on, what are the amenities? What is included? What are the HOA fees? They want to get a feel for what it would look like to live in the community before, they pull the trigger and move.
Of course, because anybody that goes there, they're like, if they see the whole multi-million homes that are coming right in the entrance, and they think that, oh, wow, can we really afford living in this community? Which, you're saying, yes, you can. Yeah. You just have to talk it out with, the experts to help you navigate to the buying process. Do you guys want to add anything else for the viewers that they can learn from Travisso or the builders you might think of?
One of the other things I would just say is that, what we didn't foresee was where the market would go in terms of inflation and price appreciation. But the people that have, as I mentioned earlier, there's 2,100 homes that have closed in Travisso. The people that bought early in the process have seen just tremendous appreciation in home value. And I don't see anything that's going to stop that. So I believe that if you invest in Travisso, you will see, the appreciation in your home over time. And that's a real positive.
And I know in Travisso, a lot of the buyers are for their primary home, right? Yes. Is there investment opportunity for new construction? Do you know of?
In terms
as investors, can they buy?
There's not a restriction on investors. Okay. There's some restrictions in terms of rentals. You can't have a lease that's under 6 months. Okay. So that we try to stay away from some of the Airbnb stuff and people, transient, homeowners, and that's more of an HOA.
Exactly. But I think a lot of the new construction, a lot of the investors are wanting is new construction, and the fact that, hey, are the builders allowing investors to purchase right now in the community? which, a lot of them are right now in this market. And Travisso is one of the great places where they've seen the massive growth
Yeah,
happening.
I would suggest that if you had an investor that was interested, that they speak to somebody at Taylor Morrison at Toll
Exactly.
Brothers.
Exactly. Just to see what's happening, what's going on with the incentives and all the differences, because it's different for a home buyer than an investor. So
Absolutely.
just look into that. And I have rapid fire questions here for you guys. They're quick. Okay. Very simple. Hill Country Views or Clubhouse? Which do residents love more?
I go with both. I say both. I mean,
Okay.
I think that people are driven by the amenities.
Yes.
So they do love the clubhouse. But if you want to get into Treviso and you can afford to have the view, people want the view as well. So I don't think that that there's really a choice there.
I figured you're going to say both. A favorite amenity in Treviso. What do you think they're using?
I'm gonna go with the Forum. I mean, because we have those two major amenity center. The Forum is the new one, and so it's still got that polish on it. The Plaza is still gorgeous and still, and they're different. But I think probably new bright shiny thing, the Forum with all of its, the list of stuff that I said. And I mean, personally, I love this.
I know, right?
I would say secondary to
You think we're all older, but we're still young in heart, right?
I'd say secondary to one of the other things that has just opened up that's really part of the forum is we do have a little pond area there that has a hiking trail around it, and you can fish in it. We stock the pond with fish, so that's an area. And then we also have in total about 10 miles of hiking trails at the end of the day. So people that want to get out into nature, you can hike along the parkway on a concrete trail, or you can go into the woods and
that fresh air.
Yes.
Lovely. I've taken some morning walks out there, and it just is breathtaking, especially, and it's a good workout too. You have some good hills. But morning sunrise, I'm a big fan.
I know. Best time of the day, like you just said, it's a morning sunrise, I guess, right?
For me personally, yes. I think the sunrises are gorgeous. My husband would probably say sunset because he doesn't want to get up for the sunrise. But it's because of the topography out there, you just get the views. And, that soft lighting just really is lovely.
Yeah, if you go to either of the amenity centers, the Plaza or the Forum, at either sunrise or sunset, primarily at sunset, you get the better view with the hill country built
exactly. And then people, if they want to find out how the community lifestyle is, probably go in the evening and see what people are doing right after work time, how people are outside. And
now I would say if you're out shopping for a home, maybe the best time to go is during the weekday.
Exactly.
A little less traffic there, but
that's true. Yeah. That's true. Most surprising thing buyers learn after moving over there.
I think it's the number of activities and events that we have within the HOA sponsors, and so does the.
And that's what I've gotten told by the buyers that have lived there is
there's poker clubs, wine clubs. They do
yoga classes. I heard yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They do and I can't remember the outdoor. Fitness.
Yes, I've seen those outdoor fitness. Yes, CrossFit.
Yeah, where it's kind of a portable. They do it in the parking lot of the Plaza every morning.
I've seen those. Yeah,
kind of. They get to see the sunrise.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think that coming from different communities and seeing how living in different neighborhoods, so you don't know until you're in the community how connected people are with the HOA as well as with their neighbors, and making those connections. So
it's not like one of those communities where you try to email HOA and you're not getting a response, and you're like, where do I go? To get answers.
Isn't it the clubhouse?
They're right there. Yes, 5 days a week, so easy access. I guess I just want to say thank you guys for telling us a little bit about Travisso, and then having both of you come by from the marketing and also being a joint venture for Toll Brothers and Taylor Morrison. Two luxury builders Really appreciate you guys on the podcast, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. It was fabulous.
Likewise. Thanks so much.
Thank you. There you guys have it. All the information you need to know about Travisso itself, what's coming, what's there for the buyers, and what to look out for. I hope you guys learned a little bit about what they have to offer, learned something from the vice president and also the marketing lady, Nicole herself. Just want to say thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.